Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, KKK. On this particular cruise line and certain cruise personnel that put on the racial racism, terrorism type of headdress. Then they played dumb. No other culture is disrespected so much, and then others play dumb when they do it. So on that image, you really didn't see what you saw. You didn't see these disgusting racial racism internal terrorists with the KKK headdress on. You really didn't see what you saw, right? You didn't see it. But this is a blatant disrespect that quite a number of people have for the American blacks, with small amount of exceptions, right? And the thing about it is, it's something internal by certain numbers of people. They really do think American blacks are stupid, right? They really do. So let me go ahead and play you this particular initial video here. Give me one moment here.
Marching out after Santa, dressed head to toe in white and pointed hoods. Whoa! Passengers were left gobsmacked when staff appeared to come dressed as the Ku Klux Klan. Passengers were left gobsmacked when staff appeared to come dressed as the Ku Klux Klan on board P&O's Christmas cruise from Melbourne to Hobart.
Everyone just stopped and just looked. I actually felt sick as soon as I saw it, and my husband said, grab the camera because no one will believe us.
Come on. No one can seriously think that was their intention. No one can seriously think that was their intention.
And said, grab the camera because no one will believe us.
Come on. No one can seriously think that was their intention.
As soon as I saw it, and my husband said, grab the camera because no one will believe us.
Come on. No one can seriously think that was their intention.
The blatant disrespect, gaslighting that personnel that know who they are do toward American blacks is disgusting. And this is also why it is an insultingness to numbers of American black women, the ones applies to that keep trying to fight for white feminism, which is also the most perpendicular, deadly mental manipulation force that's ever existed. It's not just in sections of Americanism. It spreads itself in different other countries, different other backgrounds. Now, understand, if this was a black man and he relayed over, oh, these particular cruise personnel, they came out and dressed in Nazi uniforms, right? Or they had some sheets on themselves and they had drew on or colored in some kind of swastika. And then the black man, they put the black male out there and say, hey, hey, come on now. Who thinks that was something bad? You see how that goes, right? Let me continue.
Our housekeeping crew were dressed as snow cones.
The group had reportedly refashioned their cleaning uniform.
Snow cones.
The group had
crew were dressed as snow cones.
The
No one can seriously think that was their intention. Our housekeeping crew were dressed as snow cones.
Muppets and puppets. How does that sound? With that foolish type of rhetoric that you heard the person relay over. How does that sound?
I thought it was dumb. Maybe you're right.
Again, the insulting is that people feel very normal in insulting American blacks' intelligence. And against an insult to numbers of American black women. Again, the ones that fight for white feminism. So when you hear people saying blatant disrespectfulness, right, they're doing this. Let's continue.
The group had reportedly refashioned their cleaning uniforms for the family-friendly event.
Our crew are from different cultures all over the world. They're young and they had just never heard of that organisation.
The blatant disrespectfulness. Oh my goodness, they come from different cultures and different backgrounds and they don't know no better. And this is the 21st century and they still don't know any better, right? They don't know anything about this as well, right? They don't know anything about this as well. Give me a second here.
Oh, I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. As I grind to Louisiana, my true love for to see. Oh, it rained so hard the day I left, the weather it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Oh.
I guess some other cultures, I guess they would do the same gaslighting technique. Some other cultures, some people from some different cultures and backgrounds across the Atlantic, across the Pacific, different places, right? That have dressed in blackface. But I guess they didn't know any better. I guess they didn't know any better either, right? No other culture is disrespected and insulted the intelligence than American blacks, right? Nobody else. And numbers of American blacks better start thinking about, getting people to cut this gaslighting crap out.
I say this calls for action, and now nip it in the bud.
Yes. Right. And there's some other people, some good people, some different cultures and backgrounds that will probably say the same thing. Black people, stop allowing people to sit there and disrespect you like that, with very few exceptions, right?
I say this calls for action, and now nip it in the bud.
All right. So let me go back. Hold on. Give me a second here. Let me go back and add this again.
Or what their outfits could symbolise.
They were ushered away and told to change.
There was nothing from
Symbolise.
They were ushered away and told to change.
There was nothing from management in regards of
Change.
there was nothing
Organisation. Or what their outfits could symbolise.
They were ushered away and told to change.
Does that seem like that they were ushered out so fast? Does that really seem like they was ushered out, or they were sitting there taking their time? Right? The blatant gaslighting and disrespect is insulting. Right? And so numbers of many American blacks, well, let me phrase that, it's still not going to be gigantic, but it's still a nice amount of numbers of American blacks that do cruising. Right now, on this particular line, you may not see as many on there, right? But you best believe there are some on there, right? Just like however many other cruise lines. And there are certain other cruise lines on certain other ships. They have this propensity to sit there and think that's some kind of ghetto ship. What kind of bull crap is that, right? right? As if there is no other people on some of these ships on this particular cruise line or cruise lines that may have more, should we say, per rate numbers of black folks on there, especially on the short amount of cruise days, right? As if there's no other cultures on there as well. But then the opposite of that, on some of these other cruises, right? That it's like, wait a minute now. Oh, it's definitely, pretty expensive or nice amount of, resources to go on that particular cruise, right? Unless there's some kind of programs or certain type of situation, but it still ain't free. Oh, but then you got people, right, that will still be eyeballing numbers of American blacks and be like, how do they get on that cruise? I can't believe how they afford this cruise. And numbers of American blacks just kind of tolerate certain things and stuff. Be like, how do you tolerate? I mean, how you get on this cruise? We're retired. Well, so the hell what? Right? Maybe that person's a black woman retired. Maybe that black woman has a decent job or a business or does know how to save money up. But you see the game of disgustingness, right? Not everybody on cruise lines retire. There's some people that save up, money 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 1 year, right? And you hear American blacks saying, how do they get on this cruise? Let's continue.
Change.
There was nothing from management in regards of, look, we want to apologise, how we look, how they're represented.
One passenger emailed and called P&O after the cruise in December, but only heard back yesterday after the video appeared in the media. They say the company was trying to sweep it under the rug.
The blatant disrespect. No other culture would tolerate this collectively, and no other culture would be disrespected like this.
I say this calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud.
They didn't know any better, right? They didn't know any better by put on one of the most racial, terroristic, anti-American black terrorist groups ever, right? But they didn't know any better. This is what how they look at American blacks. Yes. They be like, those Negroes. We're gaslighting them, and we're pretending our ignorance. And there are certain of those Negroes that buy this stuff. We're very few exceptions. The blatant disrespect. It's an insult. One last piece of video that was connected to this part of it. But understand, there was a woman, and she, sounded like someone that would be classified in America as Anglo. Now, they may be a different Anglo version of a different culture or country. Might not be, doesn't matter. Under classification system in America, they would still be considered Anglo unless this was a type of Anglo woman in America that just happened to be on that ship with some hand-picked husband. Oh, there are some people that know that there is quite a number, especially older Anglo males, be it Americanism or some other countries, the one this applies to, that are handpicked by their wives. Say they've been married for quite a while, and and some people know what I'm talking about, right? When you sit there and be like, oh my goodness, she's just disrespecting her husband like he's a little child or something. All right, let me play this last clip video, because it's not about just certain numbers of males that have a disrespect for American blacks. a certain number of racial racism males within certain parts of Ptolemy's culture and some other cultures and backgrounds. The one this applies to that has some, the ones that have a hatred for black people. And I'm really relating to cruises, right? That they be on a cruise ship and they don't know how the certain number of American blacks are on a certain type of cruise lines, unless it's a certain type of cruise ship on a certain type of cruise line where they can say, oh, those are ghetto people. Oh, so you calling those numbers of whites, some Hispanics, some other different cultures, you call them ghetto too? I don't think so. But let's just keep this in mind for what this particular woman, how she is so excited.
I don't know what happened. Housekeeping.
Sounds pretty exciting, doesn't she?
I don't know what happened. Housekeeping.
Mm, mm, mm.
I say this calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud.
Again, the blatant disrespect that is put upon American blacks. And American blacks are the most openest people. They allow border breaking illegal immigrant personnel to just run ravage in different places and neighborhoods, predominantly black, with very few exceptions of black folks in those neighborhoods say, enough of this, man, that they're tired of being the entertainment package for different other cultures, right? But again, it's known, it is told, put your businesses in, put certain type of businesses in American black neighborhoods. They will come there, you know, even though numbers of American blacks, the ones who don't know, there are certain numbers of entities, put like this, that give other people grants, non-repayable loan backs, or Harvard loans or other places that they don't have to pay back, or certain type of grants. I mean, the list goes on, right? They make sure to put them in certain type of black neighborhoods, right? To set them up, right? Free of charge, right? Or they give them the game to do certain things, right? Give them a certain type of reparations, right? Because giving border breaking illegal immigrant numbers of uncalculable now of money, resources, allow numbers of women to sit there and get free health care, uncalculable number of health care. Already having several kids before, having one kid, breaking border immigration laws, have several of the kids, other cultures coming over, doing visa overstaying, which makes them illegal immigrants, different other cultures who know who they are, breaking border immigration laws, whole different part. But at the same time, American blacks are the whooping class, modern day, of entertainment. And so you saw on this particular part of this cruise, right? You got people who show disrespect to American blacks. Once applies to, right? They think American blacks don't know any better. Where there are certain numbers, small numbers of American blacks who know what's going on. There are certain numbers of American black cruisers who know what's going on. Now, there are certain numbers of American black cruisers who have naiveness, right? Who have some gullibility, who keep thinking that because they're on a cruise somewhere, because they don't have direct racial racism terrors put upon them, that makes it heavenly, right? Now, you don't have to care about the racial racism terrorism that continue to keep going on regardless. Or some ones that have some hatefulness on certain cruises, especially if that cruise is not a particular, not an expensive per se, but they still not cheap. So the higher you go up on the resources to pay for that cruise, the more people for some different cultures, one applies to, will look at American blacks and be like, how they get on that cruise? How are they affording this? But the same type of piece of shit people, they won't look at number of people that look like them and say, how did they afford it? Right? Because there are certain definitely high echelon crews out there, right? And there are some medium and some. Anyway, the point is that this is disrespectfulness. And then you hear how people make excuses. Well, they come from different cultures, and hey, it really didn't mean what it didn't really mean how it sounded. Plain blatantness, or what can be construed as playing as if they don't know any better, which is an insult. So I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.